Hello, Memory Ruvimbo, if I have it correct. You are also at ACTIF. What can you tell the people in Suriname about your business?
So my business is a fusion of African textile, clothing, fashion. So I bring together, I work with women who are in marginalized communities, who are displaced, but they come together and then they put these a fusion of their culture, of their expression into designs across Africa. So I am originally from Zimbabwe, but I live and work in Kenya, but I travel across the continent. So my designs are from Nigeria, from Ghana, Cameroon, Central African Republic, DRC, Zambia, South Africa. It's a whole fusion, and I call it Afro-Fusion, WakaKosha.
And what can you tell us about the women that you work with? How many women partake in your business?
Sorry, come again?
Yes, but how many women do you work with?
Okay, so I currently am working with 30 African designers from across the continent, mostly young women. So what I do is I make sure that their products meet the market export conditions, and then I market in different continents, in the US, I do pop-up markets in the UK, and I'm also exploring the Caribbean market as well to meet what the appetite for African production, African clothing, designs with the Caribbean market as well.
What can you profit out of? What can you get out of this conference or this forum when we're talking about the connection between Africa and the Caribbean?
So one of the things is we know that Africa and Caribbean is a big market. So I do market all our produce, everything that is can. I'm looking for connections for investment into the platform. We want to create a virtual market. In Africa already, we have the Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement, which has one market. We are looking for one currency across. So I'm expecting from this connection to be able to meet the different investors, but also the different designers who are based here in the Caribbean and who also want to either get stuff from the African continent. I can always ship them here, but also if there's something from the Caribbean that we can also trade in Africa, because I believe we should be buying from ourselves because we are a big market. So establishing that brand and making sure we are working together, I think we can do.
In the world, they are talking about connecting girls to business, entrepreneurship, and working together. How do you want to help young girls to make their dreams come true?
So I want to be able to make sure that young girls are able to access the market by themselves. You know, for example, we've got Amazon, we've got the different online platforms. So I want them to be able to have a business where they are reliable, they've got the skills, they're able to supply, and are also registered online to be supplying directly. So mine is a pathway to be able to create that, but also the biggest problem that we have on the continent, the challenge is a lot of young people or designers design very good, but they don't actually have the market. And the consumers, African women love a lot of designs, but sometimes their tailors are not reliable, sometimes their tailors are not available. So I have a network of tailors across the continent, so I'm also hoping to build that so that we can also have a platform. If you go to Ghana, if you go to Nigeria, if you go to Senegal, if you go to Cote d'Ivoire, to Ethiopia, who are the tailors you can see today, and tomorrow if you're on business, they can already design something for you. We know that if you go to China, for example, the designers will come, they'll make your stuff, and tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, 3 days, you already have it. So I'm also trying to establish that quality on the African continent. So I'm excited about this.
One of the problems that I saw on news and YouTube is that most of the fabrics are made in China, and the expenses are very high, and building a business is very hard. How do you think Africa and the Caribbean can make their own fabrics and produce their own fabrics? How can Africa and Caribbean work together to make sure they make their own fabrics?
So one of the things that we have to do on the African continent is to make sure that once we produce our cotton, we're able to make sure that there's production. Because right now we are consuming and we're just trading without actually establishing our own industries. So one of the goals is to have our own industries here on the continent, in Africa, here in the Caribbean, where we are producing. So we have to also protect our markets, particularly the manufacturing market, and re-establish means to ensure that we are able to have our own designs, our own factory that creates more employment. So we need investment into that because we need state-of-the-art equipment. We also need to make sure that even our labor markets are also in a way where the reason why things are cheaper in China is because the labor there is cheaper and lower, but they also do not have certain protection. So we are saying, how do we make sure that we establish that we buy from each other and then we establish those markets where we are printing our own cotton. We have the best cotton. Look at Ethiopia. This is handmade in Ethiopia. They do this. They already have. So it's important to also make sure that, we are promoting the markets and establishing the markets here. These are made in Nigeria, are showing beautiful designs. Exactly. So we can do more if we get the investment, we get the support, and we buy from each other.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.